Okay. Hello, Angela and Jamie. How are you?
Hi, Douglas.
Hello, hello. We're well, thank you.
Thank you for coming on the show. I appreciate it. It's nice to see you both. You guys are in New York right now, is that correct?
We are.
Yeah,
And what are you doing there?
we're here for our book launch. So we have a very exciting schedule. Um, we have this interview with you, firstly, and then tomorrow we're going over to Times Square, and we have the billboard running at the NASDAQ to promote our book launch. So that's really exciting news. And then tomorrow evening, we have us and the Million Dollar Story team and everybody who's co-authored our book all together for our book signing and book launch here at the Knickerbocker. So that's really, really exciting. And yeah.
And if you can tell from the accent, she flew in from the UK yesterday. And even though I grew up in New York City, I live in South Carolina now. So I left 85-degree weather and tornado threats yesterday and came into the city, and she flew in from the UK. So we're super proud of the authors and the accomplishment of the book, and it's fun to come and celebrate everybody in a big splashy way.
Well, that's great. Now, before we got on, you said that you had a surprise. Was that the surprise, the NASDAQ board, or what is your big surprise?
No, that is one of the surprises, but no, we had some terrific news of how well we did in the actual bestseller ranking. So over to Jamie, you can tell.
Okay, so we hit number 2 on Wall Street Journal, and we found out actually I was sitting in traffic leaving JFK heading into the city in the cab in the pouring rain, and it was like, oh my gosh, we got number 2 on Wall Street Journal. We hit the USA Today bestseller list. I got an email from the folks over at Barnes and Noble saying that we hit number 7 overall, and they said that was really unusual for a non-fiction book. And for those who don't know the industry well, ranking well on Amazon is sort of the first stop. So of course we did very well on Amazon in entrepreneurship and marketing and women in business, but it's nice that we kept climbing the ladder and super proud and happy to have made number 2 on Wall Street Journal.
Oh, well, that's great. Congratulations to you both on that. That's
Thank
very
you.
exciting. I want to get a little bit of a backstory. You have a company called Million Dollar Story Agency, right? And Angela is the COO and Jamie is the CEO and founder. Okay, tell me a
Yeah.
little bit about the agency. What do you guys do exactly?
So we are a book publishing and marketing agency. We work specifically with entrepreneurs who have services or products to sell. And the reason that we do that is many people are driven to write books, and we applaud that. We love story. We want people to tell story, but we come at it from a business perspective. So we want to use story to have people understand that these entrepreneurs who are offering good services or good products to make a difference to their customers and clients, not the journey isn't always easy. And so we want to share the story, make it more approachable, make the people more approachable. It helps sell their services or products. It helps make them real. This particular book is called Million Dollar Identity. And the reason is, and why we're called Million Dollar Story Agency, is in the process of becoming an entrepreneur, you have to grow as a person, get used to facing a lot of challenges, flying across the pond to come in for a book launch, things of that sort. And the idea is we're always getting better. We're experiencing ups and downs, but we keep going, and we want to just share those stories. So it's not just about hitting $1 million run rate and an annual revenue for a business, but also who you become, how many people you serve, what kind of a difference you make.
So your agency is a PR agency for entrepreneurs and authors?
Not PR, we are publishers. So we help
Publishers.
people write books, publish books, and launch and market books. And their stories are always around the businesses that they have produced.
Oh, I see.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Now, it begs the obvious question, since you're from the UK and you're from America, how did you two meet?
We met at Funnel Hacking Live, which is sort of entrepreneurs that get together. They're interested in tech, but also personal growth. So we met at that marketing event. We actually shared a room together. We'd never met. There was four of us, four girls, two from America, one from Canada, one from the UK, and we just spontaneously went on a forum, got together, decided to share a room, and then me and Jamie met, and we're all friends and we all stay in touch. But we met, and then we were trying to figure out a way of working together because we got on really, really well. I have a strong marketing background and mindset, and so I like that side of it. Jamie was already established with the publishing side, and then we just kind of joined forces and have made a success of that. And we joined about a year ago. We joined together, and we've just gone all out for it.
So you became friends and then decided to create a company together?
Exactly. And we have uncovered more and more that we have different strengths and different weaknesses, so we complement each other well. I think you're probably familiar with the phrase that entrepreneurship can be a little bit lonely, especially I live in a really small town in the South. And so it's nice, we speak every day on Voxer and we communicate and we keep each other going. And we run a team. So we have a group of people who address the different skill sets that are required in writing and publishing and marketing. But the two of us together sort of pace each other. It's like having runners together. We keep each other moving forward.
So, Angela, you still reside in the UK or do you live in the United States?
No, I live in the UK. Yes, I have 4 children. So yeah, I live in the UK, but yeah, we speak every day. It's actually 5 hours time difference, and Jamie's a very early bird, so actually it works out quite well. Works out quite well for us, and yeah, and we run the company together, and absolutely love it.
Yeah, I think especially after COVID really highlighted the I don't know if the need, but the availability to work remotely. And with my producer, John, we've been working remotely for years, long before COVID, just because I moved away and he stayed in Boston. So we've been doing it forever. But after COVID hit, sort of everybody started to work remotely. And I think most people have found it to be good. I haven't heard a lot of complaints from people saying, oh, I don't like remote working.
What I love is it normalized a lot of it and humanized a lot of it. I've run a podcast. I've done a lot of podcast interviews when we're speaking with prospective clients. My neighbors have dogs. I live in a small town, but I happen to live near the fire station. So invariably a siren is going to go by. And I think people just got much more accustomed to things happen in the background. We can't necessarily control it. It doesn't make us less professional. I came out of a strong corporate background. So for years, it was like, oh my goodness, I have to have my makeup on and my hair just right and my clothes just right. And there cannot be any background noise whatsoever. And whatever that was, the newscaster where his child ran out in the background and the wife is kind of crawling going, oh my God. And people loved that because it's real life and it doesn't diminish or demean the capability of people. So I think COVID helped us get a little bit more real and a little bit more forgiving. So that's nice.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree with you because before COVID, the news agencies and the talk shows, which I'm doing, I'm also watching a lot of other people's talk shows because that's what one does when you're in the business. And they started doing a lot of remote because they couldn't have people live in studio. And not everybody's home was equipped with a professional camera and a microphone and proper lighting. And they just went with it. I mean, even NBC and CBS, they just went with whatever they got. Somebody holding their phone in front of their face to do an interview and it's shaking and they just let it go. And you know what? I appreciate that. I do. I think that it humanizes all of us, like you said.
Well, you're giving us grace right now. We're in a hotel room. The lighting isn't the best.
Yeah.
The sound isn't the best right now for both of us. So we appreciate that you're giving us a little bit of grace here, and we're making do.
Well, I think as long as the story is good, I think it goes back to a lot of film producers that I've spoken with who said that you can have all the CGI and multi-million-dollar budgets, but if you don't have a good story, the movie won't be any good, or people won't like it. And I
Yeah,
think that
absolutely.
really is what it's about. As long as there's an interesting story, a good conversation, people will forgive, room lighting or noise or something like that. I've had people bring their dogs on and hold their little dog right in their lap, and that's great. I think it's wonderful. We've got just a couple of minutes left, and I want to hit on the book a little bit more. So the book is called $1 Million Identity, and you guys are co-authors. Give us a little synopsis of the book. I know that we had mentioned there was sort of a lot of people involved in this book, and there's a bunch of different names on the cover. But give me an idea. Give me an overview of the book. What can the reader expect?
Well, I think you brought up story, and that compelling story will cover a lot of different things. And so that is what we try to do with our entrepreneurs and authors. We've noticed that many entrepreneurs, maybe, like a Bill Gates scenario, they didn't necessarily finish school. School sitting in a classroom wasn't necessarily their strong suit, but taking action, following through, having a big vision is something that they're capable of doing, risking things, trying something that's a little new and uncomfortable. So we like to capture those stories and then show that people can go on to create very successful businesses that are changing other people's lives. And yet we don't want writing, the structured writing part, to ever be a barrier for somebody sharing their story. So what we do is we meet with entrepreneurs who want to share their story of where they came from in $1 Million Identity. We've got, someone who came from Haiti, very poor situation, people who came out of the United States with different backgrounds, not necessarily the most money, the best education, the best setup, and yet they had a dream, or they ran into mentors, or they found a situation that helped them believe that they might actually succeed, and they went for it. So we share those stories in a framework and format that lets people understand what was the driver, what was the context that where they came from that led them to want to try this thing that they do. And then when they succeeded, where do they see that their company is going to go? And if you, their prospect or client, might benefit from purchasing their service or their product, where could you go if you join with their company? Get their help with something. And then
these authors, though, they create magic. They really are inspirational people that we've got involved in the project. So
we let them do a little teaching and share a little success story, and
invite the public into their world.
Yeah. And it will explain more when you read the book. And the thing is, there's something for everyone, whether you're in e-commerce or brick and mortar, or business to business, business to government sales, whether you're in coaching or inspirational, motivational kind of thing. We have
real estate,
stories of all of those things.
So if I was an aspiring entrepreneur or a struggling entrepreneur, and I picked up your book, with any luck, it's going to give me confidence and inspiration and hope to continue on the fight,
Definitely, Douglas, because some of the stories, like the struggles that they've been through are really inspirational. And also there's some of them, there's quite a pattern to it. And so it kind of, when you're told that you should model success, so these people are at the pinnacle of success. But if you start modeling, and you can model, from the levels of where they've been, and literally follow the path and the pattern and the road to success, really, it is inspirational to read every single one, and so diverse.
We had Frank Kern write an endorsement for this book, and he is certainly the pinnacle of success. Ryan Stewman wrote a foreword, And the idea of, we all kind of start at the same place. We're little kids learning to crawl and then walk and then, doing what our parents tell us to do. And at some point we venture out on our own and we invariably fall down and fail. So how do you get back up again and keep going?
You mentioned something about a pattern, and we only have a couple minutes, so I want to just hit this quick. But is one of the patterns that you saw throughout all of these various people the failure that they overcame?
Every single one.
Every single one.
Including the two of us.
Yeah.
Okay, so
every single one.
So failure
You
is
don't
par for
fail
course.
if you don't give up.
Yeah.
Basically. So it is there. If you are struggling, if you don't give up, you won't fail. Everything is just through learning. It's all a learning curve, and you have to keep that growth, learning mindset, and everything's just a lesson. You might not know why you've been taught this lesson yet, but you just keep going, and then become the person with the identity that can have the business, that can do the things so you can have the actual business that you really, really desire.
Well, I think on that note, we need to wrap this up. My guests are Angela Little and Jamie Wolf. Your agency is called $1 Million Story Agency. Do you have a website that you want to give out for the agency?
Sure, it's milliondollarstory.co. C-O.
.co, okay. And your latest book, your new book, is called $1 Million Identity. There it is. And it's available now. It's doing quite well, apparently. Can people go to your website to buy it, or where should they go?
Sure, you can find it on Amazon or Barnes & Noble or Apple iBooks or Kobo, and any of the places where books are sold, you can find it.
Okay, great. Well, Angela and Jamie, thanks so much for coming on the show. It was nice meeting you both and talking to you. Best of luck with everything that's going on. I know you got a busy day or a busy week this week, so best of luck with everything.
And thank you so much for your time.